guys, it's Thursday. As Jeff predicted, I don't have a lot to say in response to Jeff, so I am just gonna do that thing where I talk and then we find out what I'm talking about after the fact. I guess one thing I would like to add to the discussion that we were just having, I appreciated Kayla's comment from yesterday. Kayla was saying that it's really good to reiterate the fact that we don't all know what is going on with our lives. In fact, that meant most of us don't, and she said that it's, we're usually aware of this, but we do feel quite alone when we're thinking about it on our own. I thought that was a really good point. As I've talked about before, I think that we all want to feel like we are not totally in the middle of nowhere, out in left field, in terms of life and stuff. We seek validation. All that to say, I think it's really valuable to talk to people of different life experiences and see that they don't really have any idea what they're doing either, especially adults. That's really nice. Although, while it can be reassuring, I also find it a little stressful because I would like to think that at some point I will find out what I really want to do with my life, but apparently that doesn't always happen, or doesn't even usually happen. Yeah. So right now I'm just gonna try and, get through this week and get through this semester and get through, and we'll see where it goes, I guess. Which is all we can really do anyway. Moving on a little bit, I guess. I've been thinking a lot recently about getting to know people, and I have met lots and lots of fantastic, amazing, wonderful people, some of whom you saw or heard in Friday's video, and it's great, and the people that I know are great. But when you find those, people and you think they are really, really interesting, and you want to get to know them, but it's just not done to go up to them and be like, "Hi, I'm Katie, I think you're interesting, can we be friends?" And I'm not going to go back to the whole discussion about, internet versus 3D thing, because we've had that discussion so many times, we don't really need to have it again. But it's hard to get to know people. At the same time, it's not hard. I often find myself standing in the cafeteria line and then just talking to people about things like retractable hands coming out of belly buttons, which, by the way, would be a good idea, I think. But while I find it really easy to talk to people who I don't know and will never know, and while I find it really easy to talk to people who I do already know, I find it quite challenging to talk to people who I'm not sure how well I am going to know at some point in the future. That was a convoluted sentence, I hope you understood that. Especially when you think that they're really interesting, but you're not sure whether they think that you're interesting. So, for me, part of it is I want to just talk to people and say, I'm interesting, but you don't know it yet, but that sounds awfully conceited. All that to say, meeting people is really challenging, but really interesting, and I've used the word interesting way too much in this video, I realize that. But it's funny because here especially, then, I just feel like I'm getting to know all the people around, and then all these other people start coming out of the woodwork, and they are super interesting, and I really want to get to know them, too, and I wonder how many people we can know at any given time. In the past, I've heard about a theory that postulates that as individuals we generally have about 150 relatively close acquaintances, and I have actually seen this proved in terms of taking averages of Facebook friend numbers, which I think is quite interesting, and I guess I would agree with it even though it is quite restricting. I don't think that you can know more than a certain number of people at any one time particularly well. You can have known more and you can be going to know more, but I don't feel like you can at one time hold all these people in your head, and at least know them with any semblance of, intimacy. Oh, also, the thing about getting to know interesting people, going up to someone and saying, "Hi, I think you're interesting, I'm Katie, let's be friends," is kind of something I would do, except that I think that people would look at it weird. Do you think it's acceptable? Because I feel like the kind of people that I think are interesting would be relatively receptive to that. But, because I would be receptive to that, but, I don't know. What do you think? Also, what do you think about how many people we can know in a lifetime? Also, James, I think going to art school is a really cool idea, and I think you'd be really good at it, especially the designing type thing that you were talking about. That would be very neat. So, I guess, James, I will see you tomorrow doing a challenge, and I will see the rest of you again next week. Goodbye.